There are two keys that could transform your weight loss journey. Are you ready to understand them? Because you're in the right place and we're going to go over them. And there are two things also that are completely stopping your weight loss journey. And I'm going to cover them today. Okay, so let's get right into it. Now, the two things that most people focus on is, number one is calories in. Boring, right? Calories in. And what else is there? Calories out. Yeah, that's not the whole story. And that's why you have failed so many times, because you think this is all there is and you don't know these two. This is not what any professional athlete does. This is not what any flexer on Instagram or influencer does. They don't just focus on calories in versus calories out, even if they don't understand that they're doing these other two things. Even children are doing these other two things. And these 1-2 switches are going to create a massive transformation in your life. Now, one thing I'm going to talk about before I get into those two things, because if I don't talk about this, you may just never do them. And that's why I'm going to bring them up. This is an essential step most people never take, and the people who are fit live by it. It's part of their vision. And without vision, people will perish. You must have a vision. And this is where you may have missed it. It's really a double vision. You got two eyes, you need two vision. One is of the hell that you may live if you don't change and things remain the same, which means they're getting worse and worse, because things don't really ever not change. Change is always happening. So if you are not constructing your body to be that perfect dream body, perfect dream life, you are destroying it. It's either atrophy of the muscle or hypertrophy. Either you are constructing muscle or destroying it. It's that simple. Either you're in a catabolic state where you're eating muscle away, or in an anabolic state and you're actually building muscle. Most people go through that catabolic state because their muscle is decreasing year after year after year. About a pound every year, every decade, 10 less pounds of muscle tissue. This is important because this is part of the 1 and 2. If you lose that muscle, then you are destroying it. So number one vision is, what is the hell or nightmare that you may go through if things keep on getting worse? You need to have this, or else you're not going to take action. A lot of us take action because we don't like where we're at. Within every problem lies a solution. The solution is your other vision. Think about you climbing up that mountain. Think about you running that marathon. Think about you running that 5K. Or if that's not your thing, roller skating, playing volleyball, being able to do the athletic sports or activities that our bodies are meant to do. We're meant to play, jump around, run, do handstands. Every child does all this. Jump on the trampoline, run up the slide and down the slide like at a birthday party that I was just at. Kids are just, one kid was eating while he was running in circles on the trampoline. And his dad's like, get out of there, right? And I could understand that you don't want the trampoline to become a mess, yet it is funny. It's like, that's a new way of training. As the calories are coming in, you're burning calories out. Now, even if you are doing that, the amount of calories that you could take in is exponential in measure than the calories that you could burn. Meaning, you could eat 500 calories in under 5 minutes, right? How quickly can you eat 500 calories? How quickly can you have 1 or 2 slices of pizza? Or a bowl of ice cream? Or a handful of nuts? And it is a very good idea to understand how much 500 calories is and how quickly you consume it. Mindful eating, breathing before you eat, looking at alternatives, thinking about your vision. What happens if I just keep on doing this? And man, this is where it's a whole nother can of worms I'm not going to go into now. I'll make another video about that. It could be an addiction that you don't understand how good it is till you're there. You don't understand how great you can feel until you're there. You don't understand how sick you are until you are well. So give it more than 3 days. Give it more than 30 days, because getting out of that cravings and thinking that your life is just pizza and hamburgers and hot dogs and you couldn't live without your Coke or Diet Coke or alcohol or whatever the case may be, there's a better life for you. That's why you're here. Calories out. There's a different way than just exercise. It's called activity. I went for a walk this morning where I'm talking on the phone, connecting with people, talking with one of my clients, listening to an audiobook usually. A lot of times I'm not talking on the phone, listening to an audiobook. Sometimes I just take one lap around here, a half mile, about 12 minutes. Most times I take 2 laps. That's about 24 minutes. Sometimes I walk in another direction, go visit these horses, right? Go to see something else. I see a hawk, I see a tortoise. It makes my day. I'm like, wow, what a great walk. I breathe, relax. Listen, you must realize that you're in a cage, trapped in bondage and a slave to yourself if you're not free to move. Like, that is why we have arms and legs, so we could walk and move and be free. So what activity do you love to do? What activity is amazing? I know you're like, get to the 1 and 2. I want to know the secret that could transform everything. Yet these other things are vital, right? If you don't have a vision, you will perish. If you don't have the vision of your heaven, your hell, your nightmare, your dream life, then you're probably not going to take action. You need more why power. Not willpower is only going to do so much. When you have why power, the why you are doing this, you'll just get up and do it and love it. Realize, why would I be sitting? This is torture. So you start to burn out more calories and you start to take in a little less. And you realize that, like, if you're searching for happiness externally in a hamburger and a hot dog or an alcohol drink or Coca-Cola, you're not going to find it. Happiness comes from within. All the things in the world cannot bring you happiness until you decide that you'll be happy. It's not the circumstances that give you happiness. It's your perception of the circumstances. So you may not a lot of fitness people just get into the workout right away. I get that. Yet, that's why I dedicate this channel to metaphysical ways of multiplying your metabolism, because if you just only focus on the physical aspect, you're going to have probably a 90% failure rate. This way you have a 90% success rate. It's not about doing it in a day or a month, or maybe it takes even longer than a year. But once you get on track and you stop gaining weight, that's number one, and you start dropping weight, and you do it having fun, like enjoying your life, not on a diet, not having to go to the gym, especially if you don't like the gym, and definitely not popping pills to stay a certain body weight. Now, let's get into it, because these two are going to change your metabolism. This is great and all, and it deserves to be spoken about, and I could speak about it much more, yet these two things are going to be a game changer, because when you change your metabolism, you change everything, right? Your metabolism is about 50 to 70% of the calories out, let's say, the calories getting burned, because you're not just going to be exercising for hours and hours and hours every day. Like, if you are, then you're not watching this. You don't need this. You just love to exercise, and you could eat a good amount of food. But the thing is when you change your metabolism, you don't have to depend on these two as much, right? Yeah, You have fun, maybe an hour of activity a day, awesome. You are mindful of what you're eating because happiness comes from within, not on your plate. But we got to change your metabolism because your metabolism is changing either way. And if you're getting older, which everyone is, your metabolism is getting slower. But there's a way to change that so you can control your metabolism. Number one, we're going to call the 1 rep revolution. The 1 rep revolution. Now, that is pretty simple. Let me put this down so I can explain it. When you are training, there's 1 rep that makes all the difference, and it's usually not the first. It could be, but that takes expertise. Usually the last rep. And a lot of people's last rep look like the first rep. They're like, all right, doing chest press or doing push-ups, just doing this, all right? Or maybe they're just like, oh, this is too hard, oh. And they're saying it and they're thinking it, but really physically they're not feeling it. This is the last rep. Start shaking a little bit. Ooh, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You got it. Ooh. Now you're 40% stronger in the negative phase, right? So really you could push up on your knees and then come back down. You could push up, just get your body to come up and then push back down until you have reached failure and you're like falling on yourself and you can't push anymore. This takes time to get to. In the journey, you're pushing yourself to close to failure. Once you get a few weeks or months into it, then you can really tap into this. Some people do it really quickly, but usually it takes weeks or months to tap into getting to that last repetition, and you perfect it over years. That last repetition is really struggling and understanding how to get to failure. When you do that, your body sends a signal to your brain, your body receives it. I got to get stronger, and I'm getting stronger. I have a reason to get stronger because I am pushed to get stronger. That simple. The ultimate sophistication is simplicity. Do not mistake this simplicity for inefficiency. I can't train just once per week. I need to train more. If you're watching this and you're struggling with weight loss, your training isn't efficient enough. And training more doesn't make it more efficient. It actually makes it less efficient. See, there's this principle of intensity. And when you add time, you take away intensity. When you take away time, you add intensity. Right? So your training sessions could be short and sweet and need more time for recovery, systemic recovery, like the muscle that is working and your emotional poise, your mental capacity, so you're ready, exhilarated, excited, and enthusiastic to push yourself. All you need is a few movements: push, pull, squat. Those are the basic ones. When you push and you pull, you could do it horizontally and you could do it vertically. It's pretty simple. You could do it with weights, you could do it at home with body weight, you could do it with free weights. The point is to perfect that last repetition, the 1 rep revolution, to the point where you are fatigued. When you do this, this is science, and this is how you progress. You don't need to train 5 days per week. I've done it. I've done it. Now, when I switched from training 5 days per week or 6 days per week and still feeling like I needed to train on that 7th day, what happened? I freed up my mind and my schedule. So now I practice what I love, like martial arts and farming and some nice walking, maybe some running, being more active. Activity is different than exercise, and you can make it much more fun than exercise. For me, exercise is really fun. Yeah, I just found it like I really love and dedicate myself to martial arts. It's like it's an art for me, martial arts. It's an art. I'm doing an art. I'm practicing a sport. And then farming, I'm like, it's a passion for me. Now, so is calisthenics, and this could be periodization, right? I'm not saying that more volume doesn't work, okay? I'm not saying that gyms don't work. Even diets, I'm not saying they don't work. It's just, what is fun, you will do. What is fun, you will do it. Say it with me. What is fun, I will do. What is fun, I will do. So make your training fun. And if it's not so fun, make it short and sweet. Once per week, pushing yourself with those 5 or 6 movements. Push, pull, squat. You could add deadlift. You could add the Nordic, right? If you really are infatuated with them guns, you could add the bicep, right? You could add the tricep or dip, right? They're not that necessary though, okay? It's about what is fun. That's the 1 rep revolution. When you do that, your body has a signal for growth and it changes metabolism, because when your muscle starts getting created by proper sleep, proper rest, and that cue to create the change, then it's game over. You're starting to build muscle tissue, you decrease body fat. That's metabolism. Another way to build metabolism is the I was going to write it a different way. I'm just going to write the let's just call it less than 1 minute, right? Less than 1 minute, okay? I sometimes call it different things. You call it sprint, right? The sprint. We're going to work your heart and lungs in less than 1 minute. So you're going to run as fast as you can. If you can't run, it's okay. You could swim. You could be on a recumbent bicycle. You could be on a bicycle. You could do a row machine or row. What other modalities are there? So many. Elliptical, right? You could jump on a traditional machine. The point is not to do more, it's to do less. Remember, time or volume and intensity. You decrease time and volume and increase intensity so that you are training for less than 1 minute, optimally 10 to 20 seconds. If you could run more than 10 to 20 seconds, then increase intensity. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it within 1 workout, 1 week, or 1 month. This is something you're progressing. This is a lifetime journey. Okay? And how cool is it to be able to run fast? Cooler than that is you increase your mitochondria, which is the way that we produce energy in the cell. You increase your amount of stroke volume, the blood that your heart beats. You increase your CO2 max, the amount of oxygen you could intake in your lungs. You increase your fast twitch muscle fibers. You increase your tendons and ligaments, your joint strength. I could go on and on about the benefits of this one simple practice that takes less than a minute every week. Now, if you really want, you could do 3 sprints per week, right? Space them out. I would start off with just 1. And when you are a few months deep into that, and you could add 2. If you're really feeling gung-ho, you could add 3. The point is longevity, doing this as a lifestyle, not as a fad, okay? Because if you are 20 pounds overweight, that's 6 months that it takes. Maybe 3 months. It could be 3 months. A lot of my students have dropped that in 3 months, 30 pounds. It's possible, but for me, what's more amazing is a student coming back to me saying, I lost 50 pounds since I worked with you. Because when you are over 100 pounds overweight, this is a journey. It could take a year if you are in a calorie deficit of 1,000 calories every day. That's a lot. That's 2-3 hours maybe 4 hours of walking, which is possible, right? That's that's an entire meal that you're not eating. That's and some people make this sound really simple, but that meal is kind of a part of your life, your culture, your persona, the people around you, your influence, right? Your family. My mom made me this. The kids had extra food. A soda a day relaxes me. A shot of whiskey a day relaxes me. Right? A shot of whiskey is over 100 calories. A lot of people don't realize. Just one can of Coca-Cola, right? 150 calories. A handful of nuts, over 100 calories. That 100 calories is 10 pounds a year. 100 calories a day is 10 pounds a year. It's a good amount, right? Because every 3,500 calories is a pound. So if you could do these two switches, the 1 rep revolution and the sprint less than 1 minute for your heart and lungs, then you don't have to focus as much in calories in, calories out. But this is the holy quadrant, right? And when you make these two keys that transform your metabolism, it takes a little less pressure off of this. My point is a journey. Enjoy the journey. Don't think of this as a 1 month fad, or else you're going to be stuck in the same condition for years. It took you years to get here. It may take you years to get out of it. When you don't gain weight anymore, celebrate that as a win. When you start dropping weight, celebrate that as a win. If you gain weight, don't be so hard on yourself, because when you're hard on yourself, that creates more resistance to you releasing what it is that's getting you stuck. When you relax, you release that resistance and you're free. You realize, you know what? I ate an extra 500 calories today. Congratulate yourself. You're mindful. Be more mindful. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Have a great day.